when the ambient mic is on, even though it's like pretty subtle, you get the impression that this thing actually happened, that like that sound actually occurred.
I think I like the ambient mic. It does.
It
gives
you don't notice it that much, but it gives it a little bit more breathing space.
When you take it out, it makes it sound really raspy. It makes it sound like it's been processed, as opposed to sounding like an acoustic sound that you're hearing, you know, as opposed to it being like a.
That's what kind of like to be like a kind of like a generic live kind of sound, like a little like if you're playing like not the greatest PA in the world type of like kind of a basement show sound or something to that effect.
Yeah, this doesn't sound quite that good. Like basement shows are always pretty amazing.
You know what I mean? It's kind of more that like lo-fi
I'm
kind of.
serious.
Like, you know what I mean? They're just kind of like they have a kind of a crappy PA and always like has that little bit of not ridiculous, but just that like little bit of overdrive and that little bit of kind of like birdiness that like. If you go to a big fancy club that doesn't quite have that type of
real clean.
The main reason why we wanted to come here and wanted to have Steve Albini do our record was, number one, the fact that he actually contacted us in a way. We were playing in Chicago about 2.5 years ago. We met his girlfriend, and she mentioned, like, you know, my boyfriend records bands, and he really liked the way you guys sounded. He was really interested in it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. What's his name? She's like, oh, Steve Albini. And I remember looking at Dan when we heard that. It's like one of those moments that you, as a band and as a musician, that you step back from yourself and go, whoa, Steve Albini even knows who the hell we are? That's unbelievable. I can't believe this.
It was definitely an honor to record here. I think out of the first time, like recording any albums, this is definitely the first one where the producer or engineer recording is actually somebody that I've looked up to in the sense of bands he's recorded before. I know that Neurosis recorded here before, which is a big influence. Especially the sound of the records, like the dirtiness and the just kind of like the raw kind of like talent sound that those have.
I'd always been a fan of Albini, both his bands, Big Black and Shellac in particular, and his just recording style. I like the fact that a Steve Albini record, 9 times out of 10, sounds like a band playing in a room.
Like the bass would go by itself, and I would just go this big crunch. Yeah, right there.
You got it. Trying to simulate it. That
was awesome. Like I could just do like a big like. That actually sounded really awesome. And the bass and drums go by themselves again, and then I come back in. I'll just probably do. I won't do 4 hits. I'll just do the.
But even if it wasn't even that short, even if it was just kind of like a quick like.
You know what I want to simulate that would probably sound awesome there, and it's gay, but it makes the point.
Okay, do something gay.
The part in that Radiohead song "Creep" where it's like donk, something to that effect, like a real but just that one like
Don't put that on the DVD, man. You'll lose a lot of fame. I know.
I don't know, I
Do
really
you want to
like.
rehearse it?
I really like the idea of the quick slide on the first one. No, the quick slide on the first sentence. Simply because I slide, you know what I mean? Like I hit the slide first, and if he hit the slide with me on just the first one, like it was like, pow. You know? I'm okay with that too. I was into that.
But and the attention anyway would be
Look
your
at all these
ears.
forehead marks you guys are putting on the window here. Jesus, you have the greasiest head.
Your
Greasy head
ears'
football
attention
fan.
though I think is going to be drawn more towards the drums changing.
You're right.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it
the
almost sort of
drums
deceives
change
you.
will be like more dramatic change than the guitar changing. I think.
Sorry about that.
Hello, electrical. Hello, electrical. No, thank you.
Telemarketer.
Didn't have time, but I've sometimes engaged them in conversation about what brought them to the point in their life where they chose to be a telemarketer. And I try not to be mean about it, but it usually does put them in a position where they sort of reassess what they're doing for money.
That's amazing.
Consider, retail drug sales.
Jimmy Page and Robert Plant were at one point in sections of the studio that we're standing in now, and to be involved, in a recording that's in a process that former members of Led Zeppelin were involved in is just kind of like an overwhelming thought.
Pixies' Surfer Rosa, of course, is one of the most Albini fans of his recording style. That's the one they point at. The Breeders' Pod album, his work with Neurosis, Nirvana, the In Utero album.
I am probably the world's biggest Nirvana fan. There might be bigger, but in my mind, I'm the biggest. So recording with Steve it's almost like a lifetime validation for me. I am not where most 30-year-olds are in their life. I have spent the last 10 or 12 years, doing just music, and having some odd jobs here and there and going to college and all that, but for the most part, the last 12 years have been devoted solely to music. This is kind of a validation to that period of my life that, I wasn't just doing this and this wasn't just something dumb, that I decided to do.
I like that aspect that he brought out of bands. I also liked his attitude towards recording, where he didn't feel that it was his job to make decisions for the band. I don't like records like that, where I can tell that it has a producer's stamp on it or an engineer's stamp. I mean, granted, there is sort of, if you want it, there is a sort of Albini sound. That usually comes from the drums, the fact that it has that drum sound on it. Other than that, the songs aren't changed by him, and that's what we liked, because we knew what kind of record we wanted to make.